Howdy, I'm Alan.
I'm Kylie.
Put your phone down.
I'm looking at stuff up about what we're fixing to talk about.
Well, you should have looked it up beforehand. Don't be on your phone while we're on the podcast.
Taking a shower.
This is Not Sure Podcast, and we're still not sure what we're doing. In fact, we took 2 months off to try and figure it out, and didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Still just as clueless as ever.
We should turn this podcast into Clueless and Counting.
We can't do Clueless. That's the name of a movie. We'll get sued for copyright infringement.
Well, Clueless and Counting isn't a movie.
No, but there's a... Never mind. Anyway.
And I can just sort of claim that I was clueless about the movie.
That never works.
In the court case, I can see how many times I can drop the word clueless.
That never works.
Ignorance is 9/10 of the law, or something like that, I heard.
It's possession is 9/10 of the law.
Oh. Well.
Which is one reason why we have to be down there and get the keys away from my mom to repossess her car. Anyway, that's a story for another day. What do you do?
Alright, and now that we have ironed out some technical difficulties, hopefully we're using some different software and whatnot. We got a new camera. And
well, we got a camera. We didn't have a camera before.
Well, we had a camera. It was the phone.
We had
now we have a camera. It's actually a camera. It's a nice camera. We paid for money. Actually, we paid money because we have that now. Well, a little bit.
Yeah, if you stop spending it all.
I'm not the one spending it all. You're the one spending it all. Who went out and spent how much money on furniture that still looks like crap? You buy things that somehow magically got ate by the dog, scratched by the cat, shat back out by a crackhead.
You're going to have to take all that out. You're not putting that in there.
No, really. You got this coffee table and you're like, this looks great. I said don't get pressed wood, and you got pressed wood.
It's hardwood.
It is not. I looked at it. It's a
okay,
veneer
regardless,
on a piece of
it's a very heavy-duty table that will serve us well.
The legs are heavy-duty. I'll take the legs and I'll get rid of the tabletop.
No. I'm going to paint it and it'll look good as new.
You're going to spray paint it white and it'll look even more like it belongs in your mother's house.
I'm not going to spray paint it. I'm going to sand it down, take the finish off, and I'm going to paint it.
You're going to sand a veneer.
I'll figure it out. Thank you very much for being not helpful.
That was assault. I want you all to witness on the video. I was just assaulted. I am in an abusive relationship. I just want you all to know that if I die, she did it.
Same. If I die, he killed me.
That's not even fair.
How is that not fair? Fair is fair. That is fair.
You're a horrible driver. You're much more likely to die than me.
Anyone who's ever been in the car with Alan, y'all better raise your hands right now.
They're all going to be on my side.
You know what I was told the other day? Man, the way you drive, your car will last you forever. You drive like a grandma.
Yes. Blind and in the middle of the road.
You're such an ass. You know what? I'm not going to curb my mouth over this. If you keep going, I am not going to just hold. I'm going to let loose and tell you exactly what I think.
You're right. You letting loose is like an introvert going out. It's still not as bad as me just on half.
Dickhead. See?
It's not that bad. Like, I won't even have to censor that, and I can still put this as a children's video.
Probably shouldn't, though.
Probably not. It'll probably not be a children's video by the end. Anyway, so we were informed by several of our friends that their favorite part about this is the bickering. We bicker all the time. We just don't usually record it because we thought it wasn't, kosher.
Ooh, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should start recording our fights.
Am I going bald?
No, you're not going bald.
I think I'm going bald over here on this side.
No, you're not going bald.
What about over here?
No. You're fine.
All my friends are going to be like, oh yeah, Ellen, you're certainly going bald.
Don't listen to them.
Don't listen to them?
No.
Laura, she said not to listen to you.
No, Laura's my friend. Thank you very much.
She's not my friend too?
She's kind of your friend, but she's my friend first.
Oh, okay. Like all the people in Texas, right? You come down there.
Like everybody you ever knew used to be your friend. Well, now they're my friend.
Yes, it's because you have a superpower. It's not my fault.
I do.
It's like Spider-Man.
I do have a superpower.
If I was a spider and was making webs, and then suddenly comes in Spider-Man, I'm like, that's not fair, man. His webs are bigger. You have a dirty mind. I didn't mean that like
No,
that.
I was just thinking of that part from No Way Home where they have all three Spider-Men and Ned and Peter talking to Tobey Maguire, the original Spider-Man.
Right.
And he shoots the web out of his arm.
Tobey Maguire was not the original Spider-Man.
He's the original Spider-Man for our generation.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Whether you allow it or not doesn't change the fact that he is the original for our generation.
Right. Sure. Okay.
You're making me lose my train of thought, and then the joke goes away and doesn't get as funny because you're making me
It wasn't funny to begin with.
derail. Never mind.
Who's the original Superman? And if you say Henry Cavill.
Christopher Reeves.
Thank you.
That was the first Superman movie I ever watched.
First Superman
1977.
movie anybody ever watched who was ever worth their salt. If you don't know who Christopher Reeves is as Batman, he talks to his neck now.
Christopher Reeves is not Batman.
Superman.
Get it right.
Who's your favorite Batman?
I'm not going to answer that question because no matter how I answer that, it's going to be wrong to someone. Okay, I have not seen Robert Pattinson's Batman, so I cannot say definitively which one's my favorite.
Right, okay.
Because I haven't seen the latest.
Alright. Anyway, so our topic. I'm making weird faces on camera. I'm not sure I'm doing it on purpose or not. Yay.
I don't like the camera. It's at a bad angle.
It's a great angle for me. Watch this. Hey. Alright, guys. We're going to talk today about rednecks and inbreeding.
Why do you always have to go there?
I don't know. Because rednecks and inbreed are funny.
Let's try not to go there this time.
What? Where? Rednecks? Or inbreeding?
Keep going. What are we
Rednecks
talking
and
about?
inbreeding?
What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today? It was your
Especially
idea.
because it's 10 o'clock and I'm tired.
You're tired. I worked all day. What did you do?
Really?
Yeah, what did you do?
I don't want to hear about it from
And how
you.
heavy was the pipe that you put up how high in the air?
I don't want to hear about it from you.
Uh-huh, sure. And how many lifts did you break? How many?
I thought you said you didn't break them.
How many? I didn't. They broke while I was on them, so
Sure.
the difference in
Sure.
the eyes of the coworkers is minimal.
Sure.
3 lifts broke while Alan was in possession of them. Alan broke 3 lifts.
Okay, I
There's
know
not
they
a
said they like the
difference.
bickering, but can we actually get to the original topic? Because the bickering gets old very quickly.
Yeah, kind of like me.
You said it.
All right. So the topic today is apparently Kylie watches weird shows.
It's not weird. Me and 4 million other people.
You realize there is 8 billion people in the world. 4 million is less than 1%.
Okay, it's probably more than 4 million then. But anyway,
I highly doubt it.
I've been watching Love is Blonde on Netflix.
I read the description of Love is Blind and it deleted it off of the Netflix suggested. Somehow she found it again.
Anyway, the premise, if none of y'all have seen it, is that it's a social experiment trying to figure out if you can fall in love with someone based purely on an emotional connection sight unseen, which is actually kind of weird because that's almost what we did.
Let me line this out for you, okay? In a way that many homeschools will understand.
What part of the bickering
Matchmaker,
gets old?
matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch.
Broadway, do not call him. Seriously, I would burn down Broadway if you call him.
I've been dreaming of a true love's kiss.
You haven't even watched the show, so you can let me finish explaining it. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
It's literally though, sing through the lyrics of Matchmaker, Matchmaker, and that's what this show is about.
Not really.
Except
Anyway,
for the old lady. Hava, oh, Hava,
because
I got a match for you.
Because society has such fickle,
Deprivation,
depraved, vain.
despotism.
Stop it. Ideas and associations nowadays with social media and all this other crap.
I just
Everything's based on the physical side of things. The social experiment is to see whether or not you can fall in love with someone regardless of their physical appearance.
Is that the social experiment, or is the social experiment to see how much physical contact is necessary to make a lasting relationship?
No, the experiment is to see if you can actually fall in love with someone. Is love blind? Is love blind, truly? And so far, out of 4 seasons, there are only 4 couples that are still together today. Now, we don't know all the fates of the 4th season couples yet, because the rest of the episodes don't come out till this coming Friday. So we won't know for sure who all gets married and who doesn't. I have a feeling 2 of them will. But then again, Netflix likes to show all the dramatic scenes and none of the good scenes, in the previews for the next episode. So we still don't know for sure. So I have a feeling 2 couples from this season will get married.
I have a question.
What?
I have an opinion about this already. Okay, my opinion is that the fact that there are some couples that are still together, at the rate of about 1 couple a season, it appears.
Not even.
You just said there's 4 seasons.
There are, but we don't.
3 couples stay together. How many couples per season?
There's 4 seasons, but we don't know how season 4, who's going to end up with who
At
yet.
the rate of about 1 couple per season thus far. That's an accurate statement.
Yeah, but 2 of those couples that are still together are from season 1. None of the couples from season 2, and 1 of the couples from season 3.
At the rate of about 1 couple per season.
Okay, whatever.
It's a statistic, and it works.
Okay.
It averages about 1 couple per season. How many couples per season? Starting.
2 couples with season 1. 1 couple from season 2 and 1 couple from season 3. But the couple from season 2 is no longer together.
How many started the daggum show? For the 4th time.
It's late. I'm tired. Why do you have to make this hard?
I'm not. You're just...
We're not talking about the number of people. We're not even talking about the actual show. What we're talking about tonight...
I'm trying to make a point. How many couples begin the show?
I don't know, Alan. There was like 30 people in each pod.
So, 30 couples?
No. Generally, each season has about 5 or 6 couples.
Okay. So, the answer is people fall in love. People can fall in love blind. Because you wind up with 5 or 6 couples.
Well, I mean, we
Now, the problem is, well, how did you say it earlier? People are fickle and stupid?
Yeah, love is blind, but people are fickle.
Love is blind and people are fickle and stupid. Basically, here the problem is people are selfish and fickle. And you wind up with these... They're not willing to put in the work that's going to be required to make it stick. I mean, and that's my opinion. Because Kyler's right. It's basically what we did. We had never met each other, never seen each other.
Well, we had seen a picture.
Well, pictures. But we never
didn't
met
even
each other.
video
We
chat.
didn't even video chat until, like, we were already basically dating. The first time I talked to her was after I talked to her dad and gotten permission to court her. And then, for those of you who are ignorant, courting is the same thing as dating. It's just an older word that means the same thing as an acceptable in the homeschool community. Because the homeschool community is what you might call ultra-conservative. And no, the KKK is not ultra-conservative. They're Democrats.
You are derailing drastically here.
No, that was a rabbit trail, and I stomped it to death.
Okay, why don't you come back to the trail and ignore all the rabbits?
Do you want the rabbit? Do you want some rabbit? Are you hungry?
It's rabbit season.
Ah.
Shh. We're hunting rabbits.
I'm gonna catch me a rabbit.
It's wabbit.
No, I'm doing the...
Yeah, wabbit.
No, you don't know which one I'm doing. You've never seen it. You've only seen the PC cartoons.
Okay, are we gonna keep going or what?
Yes. Anyway, so we basically fell in love sight unseen, right?
Yeah.
I went up to Tennessee, Mississippi from Texas. 762.12 miles. from my front door to the bank parking lot because her mother would not give me the address to their house. And
because she didn't want strangers having our address, and yet she let me go up to the bank all by myself in the dark to meet you and bring you back to our house.
and didn't bother to give her a gun.
Because that's how my mother is.
I had guns. I had a lot of guns. I also had 24,
right, which is what makes that scary.
24 roses and a box of chocolates. I could have just as easily been a roll of duct tape and a bottle of chloroform.
Okay, stop with the creep. Just keep going.
But anyway. But yeah, so I told my mom, I said, if half of what this girl says is true, then, about herself, then she's a catch, you know? And as I like to say, I went up to Mississippi and found out that what she was saying wasn't even half the truth. So, definitely a catch.
Anyway.
I was fishing in a puddle.
So, okay, first question.
I was fishing in a puddle. I caught an angelfish.
First question. So, we answered the original question. Is love blind? Yes, we think it is. The show seems to think so too, but like I said, it always comes down.
They make a show about it.
Always comes down to people are stupid. They either
explain that. Why are they? What do they do?
That's what I'm fixing to explain that.
All right, don't repeat yourself for the fourth time. They like the bickering. I'm going to excuse myself with that.
You mean recuse yourself? I can
no,
finish this episode by myself.
The recusing would be me leaving the episode. Excusing.
I can finish this by myself.
Can you? I think you would freeze up, wander around in circles, and not say anything except that same thing. You would probably wind up saying love is fickle about 15 more times.
I said people are fickle, not love is fickle. Get it right.
Get what right?
Exactly. All of the contestants, even the ones that stay married or stay together, there was one couple who didn't actually get married, but they stayed together even though they didn't get married on the show. Which was kind of weird because then they broke up like 6 months later because he was cheating on her. But anyway, there seems to be two major influences that always ended up affecting the outcome. One was whether or not their family and friends were supportive. So like right now in this season, there's a couple who the girl is 100% wholeheartedly in love with the guy that she picked. But her friends, for some reason, don't think he's good enough for her. They said, oh, well, you deserve the world, and he's a nice guy, but he's not good enough for you. And I'm sitting there going, one, you don't know this guy. You've only met him once or twice. So, if you love and trust your best friend, why wouldn't you believe her when she says that this is the guy for her? You know, like, why wouldn't your friends be supportive of that? Second influence is normally they just get so wrapped up in their own head. They stay in their own head and they, think of all the what ifs. Well, what if we don't stay together? What if this doesn't work? What if I just gave up, so much time of my life and it's gonna all get ruined or go down the drain? What's gonna happen? And those seem to be the two deciding factors 80% of the time in what happens. So there's a couple questions. One, in the show, one of the main premises is you can back out at the wedding if you feel like you're going to have to edit that out.
Or I could just not.
Please.
All the guys.
Once you make it up to the altar. When this hits the air,
all the guys will just bust up laughing right there. Right there.
You don't have any guys that listen to this. The only people that listen to this are people from church.
And if I fart on it, they'll all show their husbands and our viewership will double.
So, there is always the option.
Sean is going to love it. And Sean, when you see this, I want you to know it was a real stinker.
You're going to edit that out.
Love is blind. It's also deaf and it cannot smell.
That is not true. Anyway, there is the option at the wedding to back out. You have the option to say no.
That was funny.
We're trying to get back on topic here. It is really late.
It is 20 minutes into a 45-minute minimum podcast.
Yeah, and it's 10:40. So we both have to get up at 5 o'clock.
So. I roll on 4 hours of sleep regularly, so.
You're making me lose my train of thought.
Your train was derailed at the station when we started. Like,
I'm getting really frustrated.
It drove right through that little town in Virginia.
I'm getting really frustrated really fast.
Oh. Why?
Because you're not participating in the conversation. You're literally doing everything you can to throw it off.
That's not true. I could do more. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I promise. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
She really does love me, guys. It's just sometimes I make her work for it.
Sometimes. Anyway.
So basically what she's saying is these people, they have so many outside influences that they let affect their marriage, happiness, relationship, whatever the dickens it is. I'm going to say marriage because that's the proper way.
But my main question with the thing is, like, there is always the option at the altar to back out and say no. That's always on the table.
To be clear, at the altar is the first time in the show that they actually see their beloved, correct?
No. I explained this to you.
Yes, you did, and that was the impression I got from your explanation.
No. Okay. You don't see each other until after you have proposed to the one that you want to be with.
Okay.
You have 2 weeks in a pod where there's an apartment for the girls and an apartment for the guys, and you have these pod rooms that are separated by a wall, and you can't see each other until you actually propose to the one you want to be with. After you've proposed, then you get to see each other for the first time. Then, after all the couples that are going to couple up have coupled up, they send all the couples to a week in Mexico to see if the physical connection is as strong as the emotional connection.
So they send them to Mexico to hook up.
Yeah, but actually, I was actually shocked. A lot of them don't. A lot of them hold off.
Mm.
But
I don't like the premise of this show to begin with, but
anyway,
esto sí que es.
My question is, if you really and truly have found the person that you feel like is your other half, the one that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, why would you even entertain the thought of saying no? Because, like, in the show, it's they always show, they show the good stuff, but they play up the drama really bad, and they're always like, well, they always show the parts where these people are like, I'm not sure, or, like, I would have to uproot my entire life to make this work, or whatever. And the only answer I can come up with is that it all comes down to they're putting themselves first instead of the other person.
Well, do you want to answer the question, or do you not want to answer the question?
Well, we're talking about the question.
Well, I think the answer to the question is that our society, the question being, why do people put all this other stuff first when instead of dedicating themselves wholeheartedly to this relationship that they should be committed to? Is that correct?
Pretty much. Much as my addled brain can process that right now.
The answer to the question is they don't understand that it's a relationship to be committed to. They think it's a relationship that will be sustained by a chemical romance. They think that their hormones will carry them forever through, and if it doesn't, then it was broken to begin with. Therefore, it's inevitably going to fail, and the more suited for one another they are, the quicker it will fail. Because if you get two people who are really going to play to each other's strengths, they're also going to play to each other's weaknesses. Like you and me. I mean...
But see,
but that's sort of the point. So when they've been brought up in this culture to where they're told, they're taught, and they're educated from day one that you're in it for you, figure it out, know thyself, and do not at any point let anybody else own you or have any power over you at all. So to put somebody else before you is first off anathema to them, and second of all, to give somebody else power over them by preferring them over you is thought to be the greatest sin. For a woman to say to a man, yet I will do whatever you need, is anathema. And for a man to say, anything you need I will provide to the detriment of myself, is anathema. It is the greatest sin that either sex can commit.
Is that your favorite word of the week or something?
No, just of the day. Oh, by the way, guys, anathema means...
I'm pretty sure anybody who's ever read Paul knows what anathema means. That's like explained to you in first grade.
Really? They explain anathema in first grade?
Explained it to me in first grade. Not at school, but in first grade.
And you're careful. So but they're brought up to think these things. So when they're put into this situation where it will, and I will say that it will be successful if they do that, dedicate themselves to it, and commit on that level, it will be successful. But they don't because they were taught that that's not just undesirable, it's also wrong. They're literally taught that it would be basically a sin for them to commit to something like that.
Well, like right now, there's one couple that I actually hated when they first got together. I did not think they were going to last. And they've lasted, and they've got all the way to the altar. And of course, you know, they love to do the drama. They cut the episode off before you see yes or no. But anyway, the girl in the couple, she is one of those people that on the surface looks very Barbie-ish. You know, she's superficial, or she seems superficial, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they're my favorite couple now because they are literally, it seemed to be, throwing themselves wholeheartedly into each other. And she actually is probably one of the most selfless people I've seen on the show so far. She is literally throwing herself into this 100%. She is not looking back. She is 100% determined that she is going to marry this man. Which doesn't happen often.
Not
so
anymore.
They made it to the altar, and she said yes, absolutely, no doubts, no reservations whatsoever. And then he is the one who's like, well, I would have to pack up my life and move 3 hours from where I was, and I'd be giving up all my friends and my family, and oh yeah, his mom, by the way, does not support the relationship. So he's like, well, I can't just marry you without my mom's approval.
About that, would you?
That's
although your mom loved me at the time, I'm sure she hates me now.
She hates me too, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, my point is that it's like, not everyone has been selfish. There have been a lot of people who have said yes, that their decision was not reciprocated. But like for us, we went into our situation and we never even considered divorce as part of our, you know, available options. Like that's never something we even realized we were gonna use. Like, even before we knew that we were going to marry each other.
Yeah, it was a decision
we had made already that we were not ever going to do that.
Personally, we had decided that. Now, a little bit of interesting family history. On one side of my family, my mother's side, there has never been a recorded divorce in any line. As far back as recorded history goes, and the history is recorded well back into the Middle Ages.
My mom's been divorced and married 3 times.
Right, and on my dad's side, the divorce is fairly common, especially in this last generation. But even on my mother's side, even in this last generation, there have been no divorces. Out of 6 children,
shocking,
on my father, on my grandfather, and my grandmother on my mother's side, no divorces. And in the and in the generation of my grandparents' generation, there were no divorces among any of those siblings. So there's a very strong. It was beaten into, not beaten. Well, yeah, sort of, but drilled into me that divorce is not an option. My parents used to say, divorce, never. Murder, maybe. And
which is also not an option, but I think you get the point.
Yeah,
it was never something that we.
it was a joke, but you know.
But it never even crossed our mind. Like, it was never in the back of our head, oh, well, if this works out, we can just doesn't work out, we can just get a divorce.
Right. Which on one hand makes for some dog awful fights, because if you're not afraid that somebody's just going to take their ball and leave, then
you can play with the ball while you're having a bad time.
Yeah, you can, well, I don't know, that's a weird analogy, but
well,
if you know that somebody's not just going to say, screw this, I'm done, and walk off into the sunset, so to speak, then you can say, no, this is something you can die on a hill, because you will die on it. You won't be left on it all by yourself arguing with the wind. So if you really strongly think something needs to be done or not be done, or needs to be changed, or needs to not be changed, right? Even if it's just something as simple as not using the decorative towels, or not having decorative towels to begin with, which is not something we fight about, so this is a safe one for me to bring up. I hate decorative towels. I really do. Personally, I do. Thankfully, she's not the kind of person to be having decorative hand towels and things like that.
I have one decorative hand towel, no, two, that I put out when company comes over.
That's true. But it's not like
I'm not cooking. If I'm cooking and company's coming over, then I don't put it on.
Yeah, but it's literally just a towel with two towels that have funny sayings on them, and one's a Christmas towel.
And they're starched white. Those are the only ones that are actually white, because I don't use them.
And she puts them on the oven door, and that's it.
But they're not there all day, every day.
No, and it's literally just a decoration for company. That's fine. But some of these women that I've heard about, they have these towels in the bathroom and towels in the kitchen. And one time I got yelled at this person's house because I washed my hands, turned around, and wiped my hands on the towel that was right there in the kitchen by the sink on a little ring. And they were like, "What are you doing?" I forget. What are you doing?
Do you really forget? You just don't want to say.
No, I don't. I don't remember. It was one of our assorted friends. We have a lot of friends, and I don't remember which one. It's like, "What are you doing?" "That's the decorative towel. Don't wipe your hands on that." I said, "That's a towel. It's a towel. It's a towel." And they were like, "That's not how it works. Don't let my wife get you at that." I do not remember who it was. I really, for the life of me, but I have this. The towel was tan.
Did their last name start with a P?
No. It would not be the Paterkas.
Or the Porters?
Or the Porters. They wouldn't know. Do you think Miss Porter has time to be having decorative hand towels with how many kids she has running around, and then all the people she has extra all the time?
No, she doesn't. And
do you think Stefan would not wipe his hands on it?
Stefan
would probably wipe his ass on it just to be snotty.
You're gonna have to delete that.
But anyway, yeah. So no, it was a black or like a dark green and tan towel with a little initial on it, and I don't remember.
Was it Little Bears?
No, Little Bear hates stuff like that.
Yeah, but Marilyn loves it.
Little Bear hates stuff like that, and you have to understand something about Little Bear. He would make a point of wiping his hands on something like that. He would go out of his way, walk across the house to wipe his hands on that.
What is it with y'all? Anyway, that shirt looks good on you, by the way.
Thank you.
I picked that out for him, y'all, so just so you know.
So, she picks on most of my clothing. I don't know why she's bragging about this one.
Because it just looks really good for some reason.
So...
And you look very muscular right now.
Go to Horny Joe. So anyway, but that would be something like if she was gonna do something like that, which, like I said, she doesn't. We just spent like nearly 10 minutes talking about freaking hand towels.
Mm-hmm.
But if she was going to do something like that, we would have a fight about that. And I would not be afraid to be like, I'm not absolutely going to do this. I would do something like Little Bear would do and just wipe my hands on it. Of course, I say Little Bear would do that. Little Bear would say he would do that. I don't know if he actually would.
I don't think he actually would. He has
Little
more
Bear once said he
discretion.
would throw his wife's phone out of the car if she didn't stop texting on it. And he said it in the pulpit. He also took her china and good crystal up in a 5-gallon bucket wrapped in paper towels. A 5-gallon bucket full of china and crystal to do a sermon talking about breaking them.
I'm sure she was very happy with that.
I was sitting in the row behind them. He slunk down off the stage and walked up and said, I was very careful. And she said, I forgive you. Put them in the car.
I can see their faces right now doing that. Maybe we can get them to come visit us one day.
Maybe. I
so.
miss them.
It sucks we didn't get to see them before we left.
Yeah. No, didn't we?
At the funeral. That doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Well,
Two
no,
funerals.
we didn't even see them at the funeral because they were out of town.
Oh, yeah.
They came to the house
The
before.
last time we saw them was at Justin's funeral then.
No, because they came out to the house one day before your dad's funeral.
Oh, yeah. Well, that doesn't count either because they were there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the last time we
there
saw
was
them.
too many people there for a little bit.
Anyway.
So many people came over.
Maybe we can
Why
get
is
them
it
to
when
come visit.
people die that people just show up? I understand it's trying to be sympathetic, but like,
well,
show up, before somebody dies so that we can enjoy the company. Because
in the case of your dad,
so many people that we would love to hang out with, coming over and sitting there awkwardly trying not to talk about the corpse in the kitchen. So
it was Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with the rope.
It was my mother in the bedroom with a brick.
That
That's a
sounds
joke.
so wrong.
That's a joke. I just lost my entire train of thought. Anyways, but you can. That's one thing you can.
Oh,
you
we
can
were
have
going. We were going about.
You can have a fight, and you can actually fight, and not have to worry about somebody else running out. And that's the way it should be.
No, it doesn't mean words don't hurt.
It doesn't mean words don't hurt, and you better freaking make up, because otherwise you will have a miserable life. Because if you just fight and never make up, and you just always are never willing to compromise on anything, first off, you're a horrible person. But you will have a horrible life if you are unwilling to divorce, which you should be unwilling to divorce, but you're also unwilling to compromise. You'll have a miserable life, and you will probably die young. If somebody doesn't kill you, you'll just die of a heart attack from stress.
Something like that.
So, first off, you have to be willing to compromise, but also, you can really, really dicker about what that compromise is. You don't have to just be like, worried like that the person's going to run out. You can really sit down and have a good long discussion, and if somebody's feelings get hurt, then that's unfortunate, but we'll hash that out later.
Yeah.
And if you have something that you really, really think is important, first off, pick your battles wisely. My goodness, what is it about this fight on the internet about toilet paper, front or backwards?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Hand towels don't matter either. There's about 3 things that matter. And in order of importance, your kids, sex, and money, in that order.
Well, I would also say it does matter to make sure the dirty laundry hits the basket.
Oh, I disagree.
I know. It's very simple. The basket is right there, and you always put your jeans right in front of the basket on the floor. Why can't you just put them in the basket?
Okay, how did Axstorm go the other day?
Oh, it went great. I beat your ass.
Yeah, maybe it's just because I can't hit the target. Have you ever thought about that?
You can hit the target when you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I have a joke and I'm not sure I should say it.
No, you probably shouldn't. If you're not sure, then don't say it.
It's not anything dirty, just kind of crass.
Exactly.
Crass is grass.
Beat your ass. Anyway.
And so it's just funny, but well, I think we're done talking about this a little bit, yeah?
Kind of, yeah. I'm getting really tired.
All right, let's do a short how-to and a random item sponsorship.
Oh, random item sponsorship.
Hold on. I gotta put a cut in here. Silly girl. Just chill. Put it over there. Oh my goodness. Stop.